Part 42. The Country Life of a Rich Dad. Author, Wo Shihami Gua. Chapter 411. As Murong Shui spoke, several children in the room looked over. Li Chen touched his chin and said, "I think, why don't you go?" Murong Shui. "You are so beautiful, there must be many men thinking about you." Li Chen nodded seriously. Murong Shui blushed and glared at Li Chen. "Grandpa is still here. Xiao Wu, be obedient, Dad and Mom will be back soon." "Okay," Li Biwu nodded and huddled in Li Zifeng's arms. "Let's go." Li Chen stood up. At this time, Li Nanfei had finished. There were still many people below. However, Li Nanfei's team was actually found by Murong Shui before. When they saw Murong Shui and Li Nanfei coming out together, they were a little dazed. However, when their eyes fell on the man holding Li Nanfei, their pupils shrank slightly. Handsome. The first time I saw Li Chen, there was only this word in my mind. When Li Chen approached, everyone had a strange feeling, as if this man was born with a sense of intimacy. It was hard to explain why. Moreover, when they got closer, they could smell a faint fragrance. "Thank you for your hard work, let's go," Li Chen said. As Li Chen spoke, everyone was flattered. They didn't dare to say much, and hurriedly got in the car and headed straight to the city. Qingxia Film and Television Group Building. Although this is just a newly established company, its strength is undoubtedly the strongest. This building belongs to Qingxia Film and Television. Shen Yanqing also arrived early, and now she has several positions. Many people think that Shen Yanqing is the actual controlling shareholder. It was not yet completely dark, and countless luxury cars had already arrived outside the Qingxia Film and Television building. Many media were also waiting here, but they could not go in first. I heard that Qingxia Film and Television has a big project announced today. Yes, this has been confirmed. Is it because of this cooperation that all the major directors and top artists gathered tonight? Yes. We also heard that the actress Murong Shui, who has been out of the limelight for many years, and the young actor Li Nanfei will also attend. Yes. Then can you tell us some news? The actress has been out of the limelight for many years, why did she come back this year? Is she getting married because of pregnancy or? Sorry, we can't answer this. Before the banquet started, hundreds of media had gathered. The main reason is that the style of this banquet is too high. After all the top directors in China are here. These projects are all very good, and the investors are willing to spend money. Who wouldn't want to accept it? More importantly, the invitations are also for the most popular group of stars at the moment, including powerful, actor, etc., all of whom are present. Even if they only show their faces here, it is worth it. What's more, it is said that the boss and boss lady of Qingxia Film and Television will also be present today, which makes everyone look forward to it even more. After all, the one who has been showing up in public is the current executive president of Qingxia Film and Television, Shen Yanqing. Everyone can see the beauty of this president. This is an existence with a face value that can definitely withstand beating. Moreover, there are quite a few companies under her management, and those are all assets of tens of billions. Such people are just workers. I really can't believe how powerful the people behind him are. However, many media are still rushing to Murong Shui this time. The main reason is that the triple awarded queen and the little actor Li Nanfei are mother and son, which is too much of a topic. Coupled with the previous exposure of Li Chen, many people in the outside world are not optimistic. One is a celebrity in the capital, the former head of the Jade Girl, and the big star of the Queen, while the other is just a boy from the mountains. The two have nothing to do with each other. Moreover, some people have dug up the news and found out that the former Li Chen was just the son of the Li family in Rongcheng. Although the assets and family background of the Li family were not bad at that time, it has become a thing of the past now. Li Chen has nothing. Is such a person worthy of being with Murong Shui? As for Murong Shui's 10-year retirement, many people want to know the inside story. Now, there are many notices from the outside world that are slandering Murong Shui. After getting married and having children, you should take good care of your husband and children. You are an old woman, it's meaningless to come out and mix. Murong Shui got married because she was pregnant, right? Is this what you call the leader of the Jade Girl? Ridiculous. On the internet, many comments swept in. Almost all of them are directed at Murong Shui. There is no other reason, mainly because Murong Shui's threat is too great for today's first-class or even top-tier stars. After all, Murong Shui is a triple-awarded actress, and she has even won awards abroad. If she doesn't come back, she will naturally not threaten everyone. But once she is sure to come back, it means that she will grab everyone's cake. Who can not be a little bit interested? In a luxurious business car. Yun Yanran wiped her lipstick gently and said, "What's the situation now?" There are a lot of attacks on her on the internet, and a large number of internet trolls are creating momentum. It has already become a hot search, said the agent. Not bad. Yun Yanran pursed her lips gently and said, "Why do you still come out after getting married?" As she said this, a sneer appeared at the corner of her mouth. "I heard that the other 4 big flowers are here too," Yun Yanran said. "Yes. All those who are good at it are here," the agent said, "but compared to you, Ran, they are still far behind. Everyone knows that you are the current leader of the Jade Girls and the most popular one." This is of course not bragging. In today's entertainment industry, apart from the 4 big flowers, Yun Yanran is the most popular and the most resistant to data. The TV series she starred in are all very popular. Yun Yanran nodded without comment and said, "Are you sure Murong Shui will attend?" "Yes. That's interesting. It seems that there will be a fight tonight. I just don't know who can get the biggest piece of cake," Yun Yanran smiled. "The highest profile one has an investment of 500 million, and it is all the most luxurious configuration. This kind of treatment is rare in China. It must be you, Ran. "That's hard to say," Yun Yanran sneered. "What if our senior Murong Shui relies on her beauty to get promoted? After all, she can't survive and can't get good resources relying on her countryman." The agent's face showed a trace of worry. "What should we do then? She, Murong Shui, is indeed a bit beautiful, but she was a figure 10 years ago after all. Maybe there are people who are greedy for her, but she may not still have the popularity she had back then. As for these big shots, they just leave after eating, right?" Yun Yanran smiled softly. "Why are you panicking? We'll just make our final appearance." The Country Life of a Rich Dad. Author, Wo Shihami. Chapter 412. The dinner party held by Jinxia Film and Television this time is bound to be eye-catching. The 4 major actresses and many movie queens and movie emperors came out, which is definitely the most lively one in recent years. In addition to them, almost all the first-line domestic directors such as Director Chen, Director Su, Director Lin, and Director Feng came. The venue is elegantly decorated and does not follow the high-end style. The area alone is more than 500 square meters. Even so, the entire venue is crowded with people. The main reason is that there are too many people who want to take advantage of the popularity this time. After all, just showing their faces here once is worth it for them. The stars are shining and the stars are gathered. Shen Yangqing's dress is not so gorgeous, but in this group of female stars who generally beat ordinary women and internet celebrities, she is still not inferior. Her growth is undoubtedly amazing. At this time, Shen Yangqing, as the executive president, is naturally surrounded by people. This time, Jinxia Film and Television's investment is at least 4 billion, which is a heaven-defying level. How many companies can carry out such projects at the same time? After Yun Yanran came in, she was inevitably surrounded by people. She is the hottest female star at the moment, a top-tier actress, and with the title of the Best Actress, her status is close to the 4 major actresses of the year, or even slightly better. It's Yoon Yan Ran, she's here too. It seems that most of the big projects of Chinxia film and television this time will fall on her. That's hard to say, don't forget Murong Shui. Murong Shui? That's right, in terms of seniority and acting skills, Murong Shui is indeed better than her. But it's not necessarily the case. After all, after Murong Shui announced her comeback, she has not made any moves except posting Douyin during this period. Even if she really comes, she may not be able to get the resources here. Everyone knows that you need to fight for this kind of resources yourself. Who doesn't have a little capital and connections behind him? No one is necessarily afraid of anyone. Yoon Yan Ran felt a little uncomfortable after hearing these words. In her opinion, Murong Shui, who has been out of the film industry for 10 years, is not qualified to compete with her. The biggest resource must be in her pocket. Besides, she has a good relationship with several big directors in the film industry, and they have all worked together. In this situation, coupled with the capital support behind her, she doesn't think she will lose to an old woman who has given birth to a child. But Yoon Yan Ran also knows that although she is known as the second-generation Jade Girl leader, her aura is still a little weaker than Murong Shui. More importantly, the filter 10 years ago was too heavy. Everyone is almost the most tolerant of Murong Shui. Unlike her current controversial status, even her title of queen is questioned. Yoon Yan Ran maintains a high and cold attitude and does not actively cater to anything. She just doesn't like some actresses who want to climb up or take advantage of the popularity. She climbed up step by step at the beginning. How could she not know the thoughts of these actresses? She won't give this opportunity. That's Mr. Shen, said Yoon Yan Ran's agent. Shen Yanqing couldn't help but attract attention. Yoon Yan Ran glanced at her, and a hint of envy and jealousy flashed in her eyes. Everyone was around Shen Yanqing, this was her dream. But she also understood that it would be difficult for her unless she transformed herself to work behind the scenes. Fortunately, Shen Yanqing didn't seem to have the intention to enter the entertainment industry, otherwise, she would have a strong rival. After finding a secluded corner to sit down, Yoon Yan Ran was very tactful and didn't take the initiative to approach. At this moment, it would be extremely unwise to approach. As the time for the banquet gradually approached, more and more celebrities came and went. Stars naturally appeared in groups. Yoon Yan Ran had been paying attention, but she never saw Murong Shui, and she couldn't help but feel a little confused. Could it be that she was overthinking? Murong Shui didn't plan to come. When the formal start began, everyone had already landed. But in the front row, there were still a few empty seats. It can be said that in addition to the most famous directors at the moment, only a few veteran movie stars are qualified. Even Yoon Yan Ran could only sit in the second row. There were 3 empty seats next to Shen Yanqing. This also aroused the curiosity of many people. Who is that? I don't know, all the big names in the entertainment industry are here. Is it reserved for Murong Shui? It's possible, but is Murong Shui still qualified to sit in that row? Or is she sitting next to Shen Yanqing? Everyone was puzzled. At this moment, the originally noisy venue suddenly became quiet. Seeing this, many people couldn't help but look sideways. At the entrance, 3 figures appeared. Countless eyes fell on the faces of Li Chen, Murong Shui, and Li Nanfei. At that moment, there was a commotion and exclamations. The appearance of Murong Shui and Li Nanfei was not too unexpected. After all, these two are both movie queens and movie emperors, and they are qualified to come out. But what about Li Chen standing aside? Why does he have the right? Many people, including Yoon Yan Ran, looked at the scene with slightly frowned brows. They naturally knew that this was a family of three. Could it be that this man also wanted to be famous? Murong Shui, wearing a white dress, held the hand of the handsome young man Li Nanfei, and this appearance firmly locked everyone's attention. Li Chen held Murong Shui's hand, and the three of them walked side by side. There were people who envied and jealous, and of course, there were also people who ridiculed him. It is undeniable that Li Chen's handsomeness and the natural aura he exuded made it easy for people to have a good impression of him. However, this does not mean that everyone has a good impression of him. Even if Murong Shui gave birth to a child, there were still many people who coveted her. Many unfriendly eyes fell on him, and Li Chen sensed it clearly. He smiled and held Murong Shui's hand and walked to the empty seat in the front. This scene made many people frown with dissatisfaction. Everyone tolerated Murong Shui and Li Nanfei in the front. In the entertainment industry, there is still a little bit of seniority. But what is Li Chen? Relying on his wife to get to the top? Relying on his son to get to the top? Just as Li Chen was about to sit down, Yun Yanran, who happened to be in the C position in the second row, smiled and said, "Sister Murong has made a comeback, which is a cause for celebration." At this moment, Yun Yanran congratulated her, so there was naturally no problem. Murong Shui could only respond with a faint smile and whispered, "Thank you." Murong Shui is the queen of the screen, and Li Nanfei is the most popular actor at the moment. It's naturally no problem for them to sit here, but what about this person? Is he more noble than Miss Yun Yanran and the others? Just as Li Chen was about to sit down, a male star who was sitting in Yun Yanran's row but slightly to the side couldn't help but speak. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Country Life of a Rich Dad. Author, Wo Shihami Gua. Chapter 413. Chen Ye. The most recent male lead of the Huating Awards. He was in the limelight for a while, and the comments from the outside world were also polarized. Some people said that he was the most watery TV king, not worthy of the title. And some people thought he had the qualifications. In short, there were mixed reviews. What everyone didn't know was that Chen Ye fell in love with Yun Yanran at first sight. The two had been lovers for a while before, of course, only in private, and no one was exposed. Later, Yun Yanran got better and better, and she and Chen Ye broke up. However, Chen Ye still couldn't forget Yun Yanran, even though he knew why Yun Yanran rose so quickly. But being in this circle, he had long been accustomed to it. Now, seeing Murong Shui, a figure from 10 years ago, appear in the big C position as soon as she appeared, he also tolerated it. But even a guy who relied on Murong Shui for a living can attend such an event and sit in the best position, he really couldn't tolerate it. He is a TV king, but he only sits in the second row slightly back. What qualifications does Li Chen have? In the eyes of those who know the situation, Chen Ye is speaking up for Yun Yanran. But Yun Yanran's eyes suddenly turned cold. A big pot fell from the sky. Although she was also very dissatisfied, she would not question at this time, which was equivalent to turning the table. Chen Ye seemed to be speaking for her, but if you think about it a little, you will understand that he is taking the opportunity to make trouble. He used Yun Yanran as an excuse, and even if someone wanted to make trouble, they would find Yun Yanran. As for him, Chen Ye, at most, he was just uncomfortable and helped to stand up and speak. As Chen Ye finished speaking, the surroundings instantly became quiet. Everyone is a fox, who doesn't know who. At this moment, Chen Ye has quietly pointed the gun at Li Chen, and then he will not care. Yun Yanran is also in a dilemma at this time. At least, now from the surface, Chen Ye does not have much relationship. Yun Yanran had experienced many such sudden backstabbing incidents, but this one was the most fatal. Although she looked down on Li Chen, she was most reluctant to see a conflict with Li Chen at this time. There was no benefit in winning and losing. That was hard to say. Even though she hated Chen Ye to death in her heart, Yun Yanran still had to keep smiling. One after another, all eyes fell on Li Chen's face. How would he refute? Li Chen glanced at Yun Yanran, then glanced at Chen Ye, smiled, and said, "Sorry, I didn't know that the organizer arranged it this way." As he said that, he bowed slightly to everyone, and then sat next to Shen Yanqing. At this moment, many directors were thinking about something. Chen Ye's eyes flashed with resentment. Was there a hole in the organizer's brain? Let Li Chen sit between Murong Shui and Shen Yanqing. Even Yun Yanran, who was sitting behind Li Chen, frowned at this moment. She suddenly had a bad premonition. Shen Yanqing glanced at Chen Ye, who immediately smiled flattered and nodded slightly. So, the party officially began. The main purpose was to announce what projects Jinxia Film and Television would release next. How much investment would be made, and what kind of team would be there, etc. The host came on stage to speak, and then began to invite Shen Yanqing to come on stage to explain. Welcome everyone to our Jinxia Film and Television internal press conference. This time, the main purpose is to announce the main cooperation projects of our company in the future. Shen Yanqing seemed very capable, and did not say nonsense, and went straight to the point, which made many people a little uncomfortable. This time, our company will invest in a total of 10 projects, ranging from small costs to large productions. When they heard the news in person, many people were still excited. Even if it is just a small budget film production, the directors here are all big directors. In addition, people who want to join recently are scrambling, so there may be a chance to become popular. The smallest production is 80 million. The highest production of our company has increased to 800 million after the latest discussion. As Shen Yanqing said this, the venue became restless instantly. 800 million production cost? Everyone was shocked. It is rare to see a domestic production with a cost of more than 200 million, and it is still a premise that countless top stars have gathered. How luxurious is this 800 million? Even if it is just a medium-sized production of Jinxia Film and Television, it is probably the top investment level in China, right? The lowest is 80 million, and the highest is 800 million. This has increased tenfold. Yun Yanran couldn't help but breathe a little fast, let alone a star like Chen Ye who urgently needs to stabilize himself and refresh his popularity. Even a group of directors smiled. It is naturally very fun to shoot a big production. This time, our company has a list of potential cooperation. Recently Shen Yanqing took the remote control and played the PPT prepared before. When many artists saw that they were on the list, they were so excited that they danced with joy. This is an opportunity to become popular. Whether you can seize it depends on this time. The first one to be announced is a small cost production of 80 million. In the circle, it is really not a small cost. A few million is a small cost. Then came the announcement of 160 million, 240 million, 320 million, 720 million. Each level up would increase the budget by 80 million. Many of the candidates could no longer control their joy. Not to mention the pay, more importantly, everyone has a chance to become popular this time. And the last 800 million investment project immediately began to announce the list of male and female protagonists and the male and female second roles to be invited. I think it must be Yun Yanran. Yeah, I just don't know if she will be the female protagonist or the female second role this time. Murongxiu hasn't appeared yet, I guess Murongxiu is the female protagonist. Chen Ye is not here this time, is he going to be the male protagonist in this part? That's really awesome. Countless people are discussing. After the excitement, everyone speculated. Chen Ye himself was even more excited. Whether it is Murongxiu or acting with Yun Yanran, it is the best choice for him. Moreover, for the next entry into the film industry, it is undoubtedly a super stepping stone. He can already imagine what it would be like if he really became popular. Speculations are rife. At this moment, Shen Yanqing picked up the remote control and started playing the list of the next highest produced film. As the list was released, the scene was completely sensational. Ha ha ha, I knew it, I knew it. Sure enough, the heroine is still Murong Shui. Yun Yanran is the second female lead. This cast is absolutely amazing. 2 generations of Jade Maiden leaders are in the same frame, a rare sight in a century. Is the male lead Chen Ye? Hey, why isn't he him? The Country Life of a Rich Dad. Author, Wo Shihami Gua. Chapter 414. As the list of the female lead and the second female lead was announced, there was a big stir at the scene. It was reasonable, but also unexpected. Murong Shui had just returned, and it was unclear whether she could act well again. Logically, Yun Yanran, who was the most popular at the moment, should be the first choice. But even so, many people still congratulated her. Yun Yanran was really uncomfortable, but she couldn't show it. Even if she was only the second female lead in this drama, she was the most popular at the moment. Even if she acted well enough, it was not impossible for her to suppress Murong Shui and even prove herself in one fell swoop. Yun Yanran thought about it and decided to stay put for the time being. If it was possible to adjust the role, she would definitely not lose too much to Murong Shui. When the male lead was announced, everyone was surprised and uproared. Because the male lead was Li Nanfei, not Chen Ye. This made Chen Ye, who was so excited at this moment, almost exploded. What does it mean? Let Li Nanfei play the male lead and he will be the second male lead? Although Li Nanfei is a child star actor, in his opinion, there is too much water. If it weren't for Murong Shui's relationship, Li Nanfei might not be able to win the actor. However, Chen Ye forgot that before the official announcement, the outside world didn't know the relationship between Li Nanfei and Murong Shui at all. Chen Ye's face can be said to have been pulled down directly. He couldn't figure it out, and couldn't understand why it was like this. Could it be that he couldn't even compare to a little kid? This is the current version of the invitation. The official version will be announced again after detailed discussion later. We will also sign a contract with you. If you have any objections, you can come forward to talk. After Shen Yanqing finished speaking, he handed the stage to the professional host. At this moment, everyone can start to discuss the next cooperation in detail. The biggest project is hosted by Shen Yanqing, and the director is the 3 top co-directors. It can be said that the lineup is absolutely the strongest. When the directors gathered together, Murong Shui also pulled Li Nanfei up, while Li Chen sat quietly aside, not intending to intervene. Shen Yanqing was sitting on the side anyway. After Yun Yanran and Chen Ye came over, one had a smile on his face, and the other looked a little unhappy. Chen Ye, we must cooperate well from now on. Director Su smiled. Chen Ye nodded, but looked at Shen Yanqing and said, Mr. Shen, can we talk? As soon as this was said, several directors showed a trace of dissatisfaction. Chen Ye's arrogance is well known. They are the top directors in the circle, and they didn't put on airs, but Chen Ye did it first. Yun Yanran saw that Chen Ye was going to do something again, and was a little dissatisfied. Shen Yanqing was about to hand over the report to Li Chen, and heard Chen Ye talking to her, and her pretty face immediately became cold. Many people saw it. What to talk about? Chen Ye smiled and said, I think I can play the leading role. Shen Yanqing smiled when she heard this. Our theme is mainly about mother and son. You are an adult, do you understand? Everyone was silent. But Chen Ye smiled and said, the script can be changed, right? Although Li Nanfei has some works, in terms of fame and popularity, including the blessing of fans and traffic, I should be better. Besides, I am confident that I can be better than Li Nanfei. He plays a child in his true colors, which does not prevent my role from becoming the leading actor, right? As Chen Chenai spoke, the whole venue fell silent. When Murong Shui and Li Nanfei heard this, they just smiled and did not interrupt. This guy has been making trouble again and again. Does he really think his father is a vegetarian? He even cheated his own son, let alone you. Do you really think that you are the best actor of the Huating Awards and you can be so arrogant? Shen Yanking's face gradually lost its smile. So, you are not satisfied with the arrangement of this role. It's not that I am dissatisfied, but we need to negotiate. Everyone wants this work to be in the best state, right? Chen Ye said with a smile. Although there are people who can replace him in the circle now, to be honest, there are really few who meet all the requirements. Qingxia Film and Television chose him, which is also the result of many considerations. So, if it is not according to your way, you will not act. Li Chen, who was blackmailing Jiao, spoke. His words made many people present feel uncomfortable. Everyone is talking about things. Why are you, an outsider, joining in the fun? Do you have a say here? Chen Ye's face sank. He was nice to Shen Yanking and others because Shen Yanking and others were the boss of the client. As for you, Li Chen, who are you? Li Chen smiled when he heard this, stood up and said to Shen Yanking, this role, let's change someone else. Hearing Li Chen say this, Chen Ye and others almost laughed out loud. Several big directors were also somewhat amused. The head of Qingxia Film and Television did not say anything, but you don't consider yourself an outsider? However, they were indeed not satisfied with Chen Ye's arrogant attitude. Okay, however, what everyone did not expect was that Shen Yanking actually agreed. At this moment, there was silence all around. Everyone who heard the sentence seemed to be cast under a spell. What the hell? The CEO of Qingxia Film and Television actually agreed? Mr. Shen, what do you mean? Chen Ye almost thought he had hallucinations. Shen Yanking looked over coldly and said, I'm sorry, after our serious consideration, you have been kicked out of the invitation list, and you are not within the scope of our future cooperation. Chen Ye laughed angrily, are you serious? Just for a man who relies on Murong Shui for a living, you Qingxia Film and Television agreed so rashly. Many people found it unbelievable. Please speak more respectfully. If you do it again, we can only ask you to leave. Shen Yanking scolded. It's ridiculous, Chen Ye said, respect also depends on who you are showing it to. He is not qualified enough. Do you really think that the capital behind you is vegetarian? Perhaps it is true that he cannot confront Qingxia Film and Television head-on, but facing a pretty boy like Li Chen, he really has no psychological burden. Did they really kick Chen Ye out? If this news gets out, Chen Ye's reputation will be bad. Anyone would be angry, right? After all, this is too much of a joke. He, kick him out, what the hell, changing the script at every turn. At the scene, everyone had different opinions. Seeing that the matter was about to get worse, Li Chen, who was originally planning to leave, turned around and said, Shen Yanking, who is backing him? The whole room was in an uproar. Is this guy crazy? He questioned Shen Yanking on the spot. It seems to be Ming Cheng Films, and Mr. Pan of the Pan family holds shares. The Country Life of a Rich Dad. Author, Wo Shihami Gua. Chapter 415. Which Mr. Pan? Li Chen asked. As soon as these words came out, countless laughter broke out. Although this Li Chen looks brighter and handsomer than the handsome guys in the Korean wave, he feels that his brain is not working well. Could it be that God was partial and allowed him to have a prosperous appearance, but in the end, he took away his brain? Even Ming Cheng Pictures doesn't know, so how dare he be so arrogant? Ming Cheng Pictures was indeed not well known before. That was because the Pan family did not rise. Who in the Pan family today would not give a thumbs up when hearing this? This is the most powerful wealthy family today. Ming Cheng Pictures has also become more and more prosperous as the Pan family's status has risen. Where does Chen Ye's confidence come from? Of course it's the Pan family. Although the Pan family's focus is not on this now, this does not affect the status of a group of artists in Ming Cheng Pictures. With the Pan family backing them, who dares not to take them seriously? Chen Ye's own arrogance was one of the reasons, but more importantly it was because of the Pan family. Today's Pan family's net worth is extremely scary, and he is really not afraid of Chen Shui Film and Television. What's more, Li Chen doesn't even know the major shareholder behind Ming Cheng Pictures, which shows that he has little knowledge and doesn't know what the current situation is. Shen Yanqing said in a cold tone, "It's Pan Sichen." Everyone around looked at Li Chen curiously. Will he know this time? Li Chen heard this and smiled. He also set up a film and television company. Yes, Shen Yanqing said. Okay, then Li Chen picked up Li Nanfei and said, "Call your Uncle Pan." Laugh. Hearing this, Chen Ye laughed directly. This guy even put it on. We didn't know each other 1 second ago, but now we know each other again? Even some people who originally favored Li Chen couldn't help but shake their heads. I'm just afraid that when the time comes, I'll hit a brick wall and it won't be able to end. Li Nanfei took out his cell phone and dialed the number seriously. The call was quickly connected, and Li Nanfei wisely clicked on the speakerphone. Hey, Uncle Pan, it's me. Xiaofei, Pan Sichen's voice sounded. Chen Ye, who originally had a touch of disdain on his face, suddenly changed his expression. Ang, it's me. Li Nanfei smiled and said, "Are you busy now?" "What are you busy with?" "If you're not busy, you're not busy." Chen Ye. Yun Yan ran. Dear directors. Who among the people who hang out in this circle doesn't know this kind of tone? It is clear that he is doting on his nephew, and even has a little intention to please. What does this mean? It shows that even Pan Sichen needs to please Li Nanfei in front of him. How can this be? Then let me discuss something with you. You say. Ang, my dad's company has recently launched a few projects, but the people in your company are not very knowledgeable. Is that Chen Ye a person from your company? It seems there is. Pan Sichen was not very impressed. He was only thinking about making money, so who would care about a few artists? But as soon as these words came out, everyone's expressions became wonderful. Especially Chen Ye. His young boss didn't have much of an impression on him, which was very dangerous. Now my dad wants to replace him, is that okay? After Li Nanfei asked, Pan Sichen immediately reacted and said, "Xiaofei, please wait for my uncle, he will do it right away, I guarantee there will be no problem." Okay. Li Nanfei hung up the phone and bared his teeth at Li Chen. Not bad. Li Chen pinched Li Nanfei's nose and held Murong Shue's hand and said, "Let's go home." Murong Shue never said much. She held Li Chen's hand and turned around to leave while everyone looked shocked. She wasn't going to stay a second longer. You know, she is the heroine. At this time, Chen Ye's cell phone rang. No one knew who the call was that Chen Ye received. But everyone could clearly see that Chen Ye's face was getting ugly little by little. Finally, it turned into a pale white color. Master Pan, I. Before he could plead, the call was hung up. Shen Yanqing also received the news. Immediately said, "Starting from today, Qingxiu Film and Television will join forces with Ming Cheng Pictures to completely ban Chen Ye. Of course, we will also cooperate with many companies in the industry in the future. Wherever we, Qingxiu Film and Television, are located, Chen Ye won't be hired." Chen Ye's body shook and he almost fell. Oh, right. Shen Yanqing's eyes suddenly turned to Yun Yan Ran. Yun Yan Ran was suddenly stared at by Shen Yanqing. "Oh, by the way, there's this one too. Mr. Shen, I don't understand what you are talking about. Yun Yanran was extremely nervous. You should understand, Shen Yanqing said with a smile, now, we don't need you to participate in this project. What happened? I don't know. What does this have to do with Yun Yanran? He, it must be related to Chen Ye. Everyone speculated. More actresses have bright eyes. If Jinxia Film and Television didn't speak up, they would have absolutely no chance. But it's different now. Yun Yanran has been kicked out, so this opportunity has come. It doesn't matter if others don't care, they do. Yun Yanran's body trembled and she said, why? Then you have to ask Chen Ye. Shen Yanqing did not say anything clearly, but waved, please. Yun Yanran's face turned pale instantly. She looked sharply at Li Chen, who was holding Murong Shui and was about to leave, and then rushed over. Mr. Li, I was wrong. Hiss. There was an uproar. Which song is this from? Why did you suddenly go to beg Murong Shui's pretty girl? The expressions of the several directors who were close to him all changed dramatically. They could hear every word of Li Nanfei's words clearly. Combined with the results of Shen Yanqing and Chen Ye's handling just now, they would be really stupid if they couldn't guess it. However, no one can believe that this man is actually the owner of Jinxia Film and Television. Li Chen looked at Yun Yanran with a pleading face, but shook his head slightly. I don't mind how you tear away resources. After all, I don't intend to meddle in anything. But you went too far by throwing dirty water on my wife and stepping on my son. Yun Yanran's face turned pale. It is not difficult for capital to win a movie queen, but it is even easier to destroy a movie queen. Miss Yun, what do you think? Yun Yanran fell to the ground with no grace at all. She trembled and said in a pleading voice, I was wrong. Please give me another chance, Mr. Li. The whole place was silent. Many people don't understand it, but many people already understand it. A chill rose up their backs. You should know that I have sent people to give you a warning and gave you a chance. Li Chen shook his head and said, the path you choose has to be completed on your knees, right? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Country Life of a Rich Dad. Author, Wo Shihami Gua. Chapter 416. Li Chen took Murong Shui and Li Nanfei home. But the atmosphere of the entire venue seemed a bit weird. Chen Ye was banned overnight. Even if he won the TV King, he would inevitably become a stranger without the support of capital. And all of this was because he offended Li Chen. Who would have thought that this seemingly low-key person was so powerful? Didn't he say he had no background? Ha ha ha, it's really miserable. A great star career is going to be gone. Don't you look at the few videos posted by Li Chen? Others, Mr. Pan, have already appeared in his videos. Chen Ye was kicked out, and everyone was happy to see it. This circle is like this. If you don't go down, how can someone get the top? Chen Ye used to be arrogant and offended many people. Now everyone has the opportunity to step on him, so how can they give him a good face? As for Yun Yanran, everyone can guess some of the truth. Recently, there are a lot of negative materials about Murong Shui on the internet, and they are exposed one after another. In the eyes of those who are interested, it is not difficult to find out the truth. Why do I suddenly feel that Li Chen is so cool? Yes, it is unreasonable to protect his wife. I suddenly envy Murong Shui. There are a lot of people who envy him on the internet. The key is that this Li Chen seems to be the boss of Jinxia Film and Television. You just found out. Dare to talk to Shen Yanqing in this tone, you can figure it out with your toes, okay. Didn't they say that Li Chen is just a small farmer now? You believe this? Be more careful. Overnight, a TV king and a movie queen were banned. This is definitely big news. The exposure of Li Chen's identity also caused a lot of shock in the entire entertainment industry. I was really shocked. I thought he was a black iron, but I never expected that he was actually a hidden king. He is handsome, loves children, and protects his wife so much. I'm jealous. I envy him in real name. Li Chen's identity will be revealed sooner or later. When the identity of the behind-the-scenes boss of Qingxia Film and Television appeared, everyone knew Murong Shue's status. Unless someone has a hole in his brain, he would target Murong Shue. Then, Qingxia Film and Television Group issued a formal notice. It mainly informed the major projects currently released, as well as the directors and actors involved. As soon as this announcement came out, it immediately caused quite a stir. If you count the 10 projects, there are more than 4 billion yuan invested. This is definitely not a small amount. It can be said that it is not an exaggeration to say that it caused a huge sensation. Many discussions began to be set off on the internet. Some discussed the new movie, some discussed Murong Shue and Li Chen, and some discussed what kind of movie Murong Shue and Li Nanfei would perform this time. In short, there are all kinds of discussions. This popularity was really not intentionally controlled by Li Chen. Because Li Chen didn't plan to promote it at this time, he just happened to get this wave of popularity. So he was taken away. Then the truth that Daddy Li Chen was the boss behind Qingxia Film and Television was exposed, which instantly caused a huge uproar and heated discussion. Who would have thought that this person who was already a poor man would have such a strong family background? Of course, Li Chen didn't care about these. Because at this moment Chen Yanqing was arranging people to urgently calculate some financial matters. Then, Li Chen wanted to transfer the money. This was another opportunity for Li Chen to make money. The investment in 10 movies was as high as 4.4 billion. It was a bit too conspicuous to praise his wife and son alone, but it was no problem to support 10 of them together. After Li Chen successfully transferred all the money in batches, Li Chen's funds would grow explosively. This will also be the number with the most cash back for Li Chen at this stage. After the 4.4 billion was transferred in batches, there was a crisp sound of ding. Ding, detecting the host's consumption, a 50-fold rebate has been triggered, and 220 billion has been received. Listening to the familiar voice, Li Chen's mouth curled up into a faint smile. Although, the money now is just a number for him. But the biggest and most beautiful paradise he is going to build for Xiaowu will cost an astronomical amount. Moreover, the renovation will take the entire village as the area, which will cost even more money. Li Chen opened the system. Host, Li Chen. Wealth, 276,899,724,498.9. Skills, internal strength release. Medical skills, immortal level. Beast taming, god level. Return points, 5,093,428. Return level, 50 times. 8,164,018,696/10,000,000,000. Currency exchange, 1:20,000. When he saw that his personal wealth had successfully reached the 270 billion mark in the personal wealth column, he nodded with satisfaction. And the return points also officially reached more than 5 million at this moment. Now many things will be solved for Li Chen. Nowadays, the amount of vitality water needed by the Ye family and the Yuan family every day is an astonishing number. Not only them, but also the Pan family, now needs it. In addition, Li Chen will gradually transform the countryside. This requires enough return points. With more than 5 million return points, Li Chen feels that he can finally spend some money. Li Nanfei leaned in Li Chen's arms and began to yawn. This kid has been living a lot more regularly since he stopped making movies. In addition, his diet is also quite good, which makes his little face rounder. Go to sleep, Li Chen said softly. Li Nanfei rarely occupied Li Chen once, so he would not be polite. Next, he will go to make a movie with his mother, and he will definitely not see his father for a while. Are you tired? How about sleeping? Li Chen looked at Murong Shui. Murong Shui's eyes were full of tenderness, and she shook her head gently and said, not sleeping. When they got home, Li Chen held Li Nanfei and opened the door lightly. Li Chen put Li Nanfei on a bed next door, took off his clothes, and let him sleep directly. Li Chen and Murong Shui gently closed the door, then washed and lay down. Leaning in Li Chen's arms, neither of them felt sleepy for a while. I'm going to make a movie with Xiao Fei this time, can you take good care of them? No, Li Chen shook his head decisively and said, Xiao Feng will probably have fun as soon as you leave, and Xiao Wu will too, so, you have to suppress the whole scene, Shui. Murong Shui was secretly happy when she heard this. Although she didn't say it, what Li Chen said was indeed what she liked to hear. Murong Shui said in a somewhat tender voice, then, will you miss me? Yes. Will you miss Xiao Fei? Yes. Will you miss other girls? Yes, slip of the tongue, no. The Country Life of a Rich Dad. Author, Wo Shihami Gua. Chapter 417. Li Chen wiped his sweat. Why is this a routine? Is there no trust between people? Murong Shui saw Li Chen changing his words quickly, glared at him and said, you are not allowed to look at other girls, you know. Good. You can only have me in your heart, you know. Must. When I come back from filming, we'll get the certificate. Then it's better to go tomorrow. Li Chen's eyes lit up. No, Murong Shui shook her head slightly. Why? You think about it yourself, Murong Shui smiled. Just as Li Chen was about to speak, he saw Murong Shui kissing her with a touch of deep love. Early morning. The morning sun is shining. Li Chen quietly opened the door, which seemed particularly light. I'm just worried about being seen by some of my own mythical beasts. Just when Li Chen turned around and closed the door quietly, 3 figures appeared behind him at the same time. Daddy. Li Chen was startled when he saw Li Biwu, Li Zifeng, and Li Nanfei looking at his face with wide eyes. Li Biwu stood on tiptoes, revealing his round belly. He poked Li Chen's cheek with his finger and said, did you get bitten by a mosquito? Ahem. Li Chen coughed and said, yes. Li Zifeng and Li Nanfei made a sound, crossed their arms, and looked like they were watching you continue to make up. Li Chen also felt a little uncomfortable being stared at by his little children. Why are you up so early? Go sleep for a while, Li Chen said, vaguely smelling a strange smell. Kesu, the Yin family didn't even sleep well. Xiao Wu threw herself into Li Chen's arms and said coquettishly. Last night there was no bad guy like Yoshijima, he kept hitting the wall. Ahem. Li Chen's old face turned even redder. Daddy. Ah, Li Chen responded guiltily. Li Biwu held Li Chen's cheek with his chubby white hands and said, why are there such big mosquitoes in the forest? Bang bang. Li Zifeng and Li Nanfei slapped their foreheads at the same time. Xiao Wu, at this time, Li Chuanlong, who was hiding in the doorway, couldn't hold it in any longer. Grandpa, Li Biwu shouted happily. Li Chuanlong glared at Li Chen fiercely, then took Li Biwu and said, let's go, Grandpa will take you to have breakfast, okay. Okay, Li Biwu wanted to continue asking just now, who was hitting the wall last night. But when he heard about the food, his attention was immediately diverted. Looking at Li Nanfei's back as he snorted, turned around and left proudly, Li Chen looked embarrassed. Li Zifeng shook her head with dark circles under her eyes, indicating that she didn't want to talk. After a few children left, the door was opened again. Murong Shui's pretty snow-white face had already turned red. She punched Li Chen hard and endured the pain and said, it's all your fault. Ahem, Yes, yes, it's all my fault, Li Chen admitted. This shabby house has terrible sound insulation. Hurry up and wash up. Murong Shui gave Li Chen a charming look. Li Chen nodded quickly and hid in the bathroom. He got up so early just to clean up the record left by Shue's madness last night. But he never expected to be touched by three little dolls. Miscalculation. After Li Chen washed off the lipstick and other things on his face, he breathed a sigh of relief. After going back today, I must tell Yan Liangjun to use the best sound insulation materials. It must be super soundproof. After Li Chen cleaned up, he quietly slipped into the room. Looking at Murong Shui, whose snow-white and slender jade legs were exposed, he silently looked away. Shui. Yeah, a lazy, kitten-like hum came from the thin air-conditioned quilt. Li Chen lay down gently, and Murong Shui in his arms immediately wrapped around her like a snake. Then she hugged his neck. How about, you take a rest today, Li Chen asked tentatively. If I had known, I shouldn't have been so presumptuous last night. When Murong Shui heard this, her ears turned even redder. It's all your fault, Murong Shui Jiao said with a snort, and then quietly stuck out his head. Yes, yes, it's all my fault. Li Chen gently transferred his inner energy to help Murong Shui regulate her body. He also knew that Murong Shui had given birth to 4 children, and her health was actually not very good, even a little weak. Even though she has been using her inner energy to build up her strength during this period, the energy lost cannot be made up for in a short time. Murong Shui felt her body had recovered a little, and was struggling to get up. Unexpectedly, her 2 curved eyebrows knit together in pain. Li Chen looked distressed and blamed himself. Li Chen gently lowered his head and kissed Murong Shui on the forehead. Murong Shui's brows slowly relaxed. There was a touch of blush on her face, and a faint smile of happiness and contentment on the corner of her mouth. Listen to me, don't go to Murakami today. Grandpa and I will go back and I will come over when we are done. No, Murong Shui pouted her rosy mouth and hummed, imitating Li Biwu's coquettish behavior. This stumped Li Chen. Especially when Murong Shui was pestering him like an octopus, it was really not something that ordinary people could bear. Although Li Chen had been prepared for a long time, last night was the first time he truly experienced what it means to look slimmer by wearing clothes and gaining weight by taking off clothes. It is rare to keep such a perfect figure after giving birth to 4 children. However, Murong Shui also has a little inferiority complex. Those who have given birth will have stretch marks. Even though Murong Shui has always been willing to spend effort to take care of herself, some things are really hard to eradicate. Murong Shui is actually very afraid that Li Chen will dislike her and abandon her because of this. Li Chen saw it and remembered it in his heart. Now, he has no shortage of natural materials and treasures, as long as there are any, he can cultivate them alive. At that time, he will hire a team to specialize in researching drugs to remove stretch marks. At least, he wants Murong Shui to stop thinking about these. This is the only thing he can do. Li Chen hugged her tighter and said, "Be good, just rest at home, okay?" "No. Why are you even worse than Xiao Wu?" He. "Okay, okay, you are better than Xiao Wu." Li Chen didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Nonsense. Li Chen's body stiffened, and Murong Shui shrank into the quilt like a frightened kitten. Grabbing Li Chen's chest under the quilt and pounding it. This time it was really dead. Xiao Wu, Li Chen stared at Li Biwu who was standing at the door and squinting at him, and wanted to find a hole to hide in the ground in embarrassment. Xiao Wu is the best. Yes, yes, Li Chen wiped the cold sweat. Then do you dislike Xiao Wu? I like her. He, Li Biwu turned around and left with her belly bulging, and came back halfway and said, "Mom is not obedient, lazy bug." Li Chen. Murong Shui. What should I do if the child is elusive? Waiting online, very urgent. The Country Life of a Rich Dad. Author, Wo Shihami Gua. Chapter 418. Why didn't you close the door? I remembered to close it. I'm done. Murong Shui looked desperate. Since the family reunited, her image as a mother seemed to have begun to collapse. It's okay, Li Chen comforted. Xiao Wu is still young and doesn't know anything. The more he comforted her, the more ashamed Murong Shui felt. Is Xiao Wu my natural enemy? Thinking of this, Murong Shui covered her face and couldn't lie anymore. Why would Xiao Wu catch me when I acted like a spoiled child with my husband? How about, when I come back from filming, let's send Xiao Wu to school, Murong Shui thought. Let her taste the best in the world. She's not even 4 years old yet, Li Chen exclaimed. Not young anymore, she can be sent to school when she's over 3 years old, Murong Shui said seriously. Li Chen flicked Murong Shui's forehead. What are you thinking about? You're too young. Wait until you're 4 years old before going. Life is not easy for everyone. Why make things difficult for each other? Murong Shui pouted, her big dark eyes filled with tears, and she was about to cry. Stop acting, Li Chen had a headache. I just want my child to be happy. Worry-free is the best. When we were in school, we went to the same kindergarten and went directly to elementary school. How could there be so many troubles now? You listen to me on this matter. Children now have no childhood. I don't want my children to follow the internal competition, understand? Oh, Murong Shui was as docile as a kitten. Okay, then I'll make breakfast for you. Remember to eat it later. Grandpa and I will go back first and come back immediately after we are done. Murong Shui looked at Li Chen pitifully. Now Li Chen understood that Xiao Wu's pitiful look was definitely inherited from her. The two mother and daughter cannot be said to be exactly the same, but the similarity is as high as 90%. After Li Chen got up, Li Biwu was still asking his great-grandfather to comb his hair. Li Zifeng and Li Nanfei both had dark circles under their eyes and were yawning. How about, you guys go to bed too, and only Grandpa and I go back today? Li Chen asked. I want it, Li Biwu hummed. I still have an appointment with Sister Xiaolu. Li Zifeng also nodded. Now that she has a playmate, she doesn't want to stay at home. Even Li Nanfei now likes to crawl around in the countryside. After making breakfast, Li Biwu looked at Li Chen and said, How's Mom? Mom is not feeling well, Li Chen touched Li Biwu's little head and said. Hearing this, Li Biwu slowly slid down the chair and ran to the small refrigerator specially prepared for the three of them. Li Chuanlong looked at the scene curiously and asked, Xiao Wu, do you need Grandpa's help? Thank you, Grandpa, Xiao Wu can do it. Li Biwu tiptoed and opened the refrigerator door, then chose the largest piece of brown sugar with a tangled look on her face and put it in her teacup. Dad, do you have water? Yes, Li Chen smiled and poured half a cup into Li Biwu's small cup. Li Biwu picked up her small spoon, carefully carried the brown sugar water, and walked towards the room with a swaying step. Mom. Xiao Wu, Murong Shui poked her head out and saw Li Biwu with big round eyes, looking at her with concern. She carefully put down the tea, then lay on the bed, stretched out her chubby little hand and put it on Murong Shui's forehead. Mom, are you not frivolous? Li Biwu looked at Murong Shui seriously, with concern in her big eyes. Murong Shui felt warm in her heart, and gently hugged Li Biwu's little head and said, Mom, you'll be fine after a rest. Pop. Li Biwu took a bite, then picked up the brown sugar water and scooped a spoonful with the super small spoon. Blowing it to her mouth, the sugar water in the spoon was almost gone. Hoo hoo. After blowing it a few times, Li Biwu said, Mom, drink. Seeing her little daughter doing all this clumsily, Murong Shui's mental defense line collapsed at once. Li Biwu has been naughty since she was a child, and she often makes her angry. If it weren't for Li Donglong's patience, she might have been mad at this little girl. But even so, she didn't regret giving birth to this little girl. Now, she is actually still in a confused state. But seeing her lying in bed, she immediately came to take care of herself. How could she not be moved? Murong Shue's eyes were full of tears, and she gently drank the sugar water that Xiao Wu fed her. Mom Li Biwu was shocked to see Murong Xue crying. Is it too hot? Li Biwu quickly put down the cup, climbed onto the bed, and clumsily helped Murong Xue wipe it. Murong Xue was a little out of control by the little girl's heartwarming action. After 10 years of strength, now that she no longer needs it, she seems particularly fragile. Xiao. Mom is fine, it's fine. Murong Xue hugged Li Biwu. Li Biwu stared with her big round eyes, then gently patted Murong Xue's head with her short hands, just like her father coaxed her, coaxing Murong Xue. Oh, don't cry, don't cry. Daddy is so annoying. If you like to cry, you won't be well. If mom cries, it won't be good. Okay, Murong Xue smiled, wiped her tears and said, Mom, don't cry. Be strong like Xiao Wu. Yeah, Li Biwu nodded vigorously, then handed the brown sugar water to Murong Xue and said, then Mom, drink it quickly. Good. After Murong Xue finished drinking, Li Biwu smiled happily and said, Mama is a good boy. Xiao Wu too. He dash. After being praised, Li Biwu was a little excited, and then he lay on the bed and said, I will play with Sister Xiaolu and the others, okay. Why just play for a little while? Because Xiao Wu wants to come back to accompany Mama. Li Biwu's big eyes were full of seriousness. Keisu, I also promised them that I will play with them today. Murong Xue's heart trembled again. She touched Li Biwu's little head and said, yes, you have to keep your word. Then mother is waiting for Xiao Wu at home. Great. Li Biwu jumped up happily, climbed onto the bed, and pressed Murong Xue down on the bed. With a look of confusion on Murong Xue's face, she clumsily covered the air conditioner for Murong Xue. Finally, he got out of bed and opened half of the curtains. Dark. After Li Biwu pulled away, he said, Grandpa, sunbathing is good for your health. Mom, please lie down obediently. Okay. Murong Xue's face was filled with a happy smile. Li Biwu took his small cup and went out. Just when she was about to rest, 2 more figures ran in from the door. Xiao Wu is just an idiot. Li Nanfei maintained his brother's pride and pulled the curtains a little smaller, just enough not to expose Murong Xue to the sun. Second sister, it's your turn. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Country Life of a Rich Dad. Author, Wo Shihami Gua. Chapter 419. Lying on the bed, Murong Xue actually felt a little bit of anticipation in her heart. When people are weak, they will appear particularly hypocritical. At least, Murong Xue thought that she was like this at this moment. In the past, these little guys were also very sensible. But for some reason, I was particularly moved today. Li Zifeng took out a massager from behind, and then placed it next to Murong Xue, saying, Mom, this is for you. Xiaofei and I pooled our money to buy it. Murong Xue looked at the massage chair bought by the 2 children, and her heart was touched again. She took it with a slight tremor. In fact, mothers never care about what gifts their children give them. As long as it is a gift, everyone will like it when they see it. What's more, this is carefully prepared by the 2 little guys. Li Nanfei came over and whispered, try it, it's very comfortable. Okay, Murong Xue sniffed and was almost moved to tears by the stinky boy. Li Zifeng also looked at it expectantly. After all, she and Li Nanfei had chosen it for a long time. If my mother doesn't like it, then it's over. Murong Shui has a problem with her lumbar spine, and it hurts when she sits or stands for a long time. This massager can effectively help her relieve it, but it can't cure it. But for Murong Shui, it's enough. As long as the child's intention is there, the rest is not important. That's not right. While massaging, Murong Shui wondered, why do I remember that I took away all your pocket money? Where did you get the money? Li Zifeng and Li Nanfei's faces suddenly froze. Li Zifeng and Li Nanfei said as they stepped back, Mom, you've worked hard, have a good rest. After the two said that, they were about to run away. Stop, Murong Shui said with a slightly heavier tone, is it your dad who gave you money again? He, you are worthy of being the smartest mother in the world, you are right. Li Nanfei took the opportunity to flatter her. Okay, just keep the money for yourself in the future. Murong Shui waved her hand, but did not pursue it this time. Li Zifeng and Li Nanfei were stunned. Mom didn't plan to take the money back. Why are you still standing there? Do you want to hand over the money? Murong Shui looked at him with a playful look. No, Li Zifeng and Li Nanfei shook their heads at the same time and turned around and ran. It is absolutely impossible to hand over the money. Since Mom has found her conscience, we can only bear the pain and accept this small amount of money. Li Zifeng and Li Nanfei ran out of the room, and even their steps were cheerful. Of course, this happiness is not as simple as Murong Shui not accepting the money. They found that there was a huge difference between their mother at this time and their mother in the capital. There were more smiles on her face, and she seemed to be more gentle. Li Chen, standing at the door, hugged Li Biwu, who was still sucking on a lollipop, and said with a smile, did it work? Okay, Li Nanfei patted his chest and said, don't you see who your son is? Li Chen kicked Li Nanfei on the butt. This brat is still bragging. Get lost. Okay. Li Nanfei laughed. Looking at Li Nanfei's mischievous appearance, Li Chen also laughed. This little guy is much naughtier than when he first came here. The previous Li Nanfei gave him a feeling of deliberately jumping and deliberately holding himself. After all, he is the only one in the family who can make money, and he is being watched by so many people outside. A 5-year-old child who lives so cautiously is naturally very tired. Now, with Li Chen and Murong Shui in the front, Li Nanfei doesn't have too many concerns. Now even his mind has begun to be completely released, which is a good thing. Children should behave like children. They should play when they should play and study when they should study. Speaking of studying, Li Chen couldn't help but look at Li Zifeng. The little girl was already 7 years old. After coming from the capital, he had to consider arranging a school for her. Otherwise, build a school in the village. The infrastructure must be in place. How could studying be easily neglected? Li Chen found another way to make money, donating money and building a school. He would get angry with anyone who didn't let him donate money. Dad. Li Chen turned his head and saw Li Zifeng rushing up from behind. Be careful, Li Chuanlong was terrified watching from behind. Li Chen was not worried, after all, Li Zifeng had a foundation in Kung Fu. With a light jump, she lay on Li Chen's back. Second sister. Li Biwu saw this magical scene, her eyes were shining, and she was also eager to try. Li Chen held Li Biwu in one hand, and with the other hand dragged Li Zifeng, who was lying on her back, and said, hold on tight. Ha ha. Li Biwu watched Li Chen speed up and waved his hands excitedly. The two sisters entangled Li Chen in front and behind, shouting excitedly. They had been deprived of father's love since childhood, but they had never played such a simple game between father and daughter. Come again, come again. Daddy, chase Sangwo quickly. Hit Sangwo, hit Sangwo. The excited Xiao Wu had already started to talk nonsense. Li Nanfei pouted and snorted, not wanting to pay attention to his stupid sister. The family sat in the car, Li Biwu wanted to hug, and was finally hugged by Li Zifeng. When they arrived at the village, Li Chen did not go home immediately, but went to the village office. At this time, the village chief and others were here. Li Chen, Li Kongfeng saw Li Chen and immediately smiled. "Why are you here?" "Xiao Wu." "Uncle," Li Biwu rushed into Li Kongfeng's arms with a bull-like collision posture. Li Kongfeng took out the candy and said, "Here you go." "Wow, uncle, you are so handsome." Li Biwu has learned 70% of Sangwo's ability to speak human words to people and ghosts to ghosts. Fortunately, Li Kongfeng is an honest man and knows that he is not handsome. But he can't stand being praised by Xiao Wu. "Where is the village chief?" "He is in a meeting inside." Li Kongfeng said. "Let's go, take you in." In the meeting room of the village office, village chief Li Wenda was meeting with several old cotters in the village. "Let's do this for now. When the harvest comes at the end of the year, we'll find a solution," Li Wenda said. "In short, the education cause of our village cannot be left behind." Knock knock. Li Wenda was about to continue talking when he heard a knock on the door. "Come in." Seeing that it was Li Kongfeng, Li Wenda was about to start educating. "Grandpa village chief," Li Biwu shouted. The crisp voice was so sweet. Li Wenda's old face suddenly bloomed with a smile brighter than a chrysanthemum and said, "Hey, Xiao, come here, let grandpa hug you." The Country Life of a Rich Dad. Author, Wo Shihami Gua. Chapter 420. Li Biwu was not shy and asked for a hug. Several old guys in the village couldn't help teasing her. "Li Chen said he had something to talk to you about." Behind Li Chen, Li Zifeng and Li Nanfei followed in. Li Wenda hurriedly said, "Sit down." As Li Chen was about to sit down, Li Wenda pushed him away. "Didn't I tell you, Xiaofei, sit down, your name is Xiao Feng, right? I heard your grandfather say that you are the beauty of your family." "Thank you, Grandpa." Li Zifeng's face was flushed. She was a little shy when she was praised in public. Thinking of the manners of the ladies that she was forced to learn by her mother, Li Zifeng wanted to show them off. However, she didn't remember much, and she was so shy no matter how she sat. "Haha, your grandfather also said that you are lively." "I don't think so, this is a real lady." Li Wenda laughed. Everyone nodded. "Li Chen. Are all old men now so realistic? After having a child, do you all dislike the older ones?" Li Wenda teased Li Biwu and then said, "What are you doing here?" "Oh, it's like this. I see that there is not even a school in our village now. How about we build a school?" Li Chen asked. "We were just discussing this matter. We had no choice before because we were poor. Now that everyone is rich, we can't do this anymore." Li Wenda sat down and said, "But, the construction of this school is a big project. Our village. Now everyone is much more harmonious, and the key is that they still give him face. They are willing to donate money and are not stingy. But the problem is that the construction of the school is only preliminary. In the future, a large amount of materials, tables and chairs, etc. will be needed, and teachers will have to be hired after the construction. Once this is really done, it will be a sky-high price. Now unless the state funds the construction, how is this possible? The original school can no longer be run, which means that this public school has been eliminated." After hearing this, Li Chen said, "School is a must. Our village is different from other villages. Since we have money, why not build a school? I will find a way to deal with the rest, but the progress of the school construction in the future will require everyone to supervise. I am a little busy here." Li Wenda and many village cotters looked at each other and immediately said, "We don't agree with this." "Why?" Li Chen was shocked. "The school is not your business alone. It is also thanks to you that everyone can live better now than before. The people in Arljia village are also afraid of poverty and understand the significance of studying more clearly. If all these things are borne by you alone, then we will become freeloaders, right? Li Wenda and others shook their heads. Although it is a good thing that they don't have to pay for it. But what if the children go to school here in the future? Will they be told in the future that this was all built by Li Chen and everyone didn't contribute? They can't do such a thing. Li Chen was stunned. He never expected that the village would change so much now. At first, most people were very stubborn and regarded money as extremely important. But now, with the improvement of conditions and the gradual development of the village, it seems that everyone is changing their mindset. Well, I will send a notice to ask everyone to come over. Building a school is not a one-person job. If you are willing, you can donate a little, but it cannot be just you. Li Chen. Li Chen, we all appreciate your kindness, but if you invest together, everyone will love it from the bottom of their hearts. If it is not yours, you will not feel sorry. Don't you understand? An old cotter reminded. Li Chen has learned a lesson. Li Chen nodded and said, how about this? I will pay for all the expenses of the school construction, and everyone will contribute money for desks, including chalk used by teachers, etc. These are also long-term expenses. How about it? Li Wenda frowned slightly, and Li Chen still took the lion's share. Well, I will call and ask someone to come and calculate, and everyone will know. Li Chen spoke again, and then called Yan Liang Jun. Fortunately, they were all in the village. When Yan Liang Jun and the design team came over, most of the villagers also came. Now is the busy farming season, and everyone knows that if it is not a very important matter, the village chief will probably just use the radio to notify it. Outside the village office, there are already many people sitting. Li Wenda also sat outside with a group of old cotters, and everyone was chattering. In the crowd, Zhou Zhang waved excitedly when he saw Li Chen. Li Chen smiled and nodded. The former bully has now become a good man in the village. It is a bit dramatic. Hey! Li Wenda picked up the loudspeaker, and the people below immediately quieted down. Today, I invite everyone to come here mainly to say one thing, to build a school. Everyone knows about this, but Li Chen found me today and he hopes that he will donate most of the money. As for everyone, you can do what you can. I want to ask for your opinions. As the old village chief finished speaking, the people below had different expressions and started to discuss. People in Jia village are more face conscious. Some people like to take advantage of others. But most people have a bottom line. Building schools for children to study is not just for this generation, but also for the next generation and the next generation. This is a long-term thing. Therefore, no one who donates money to build a school wants to have a bad reputation that future generations will never be able to look up to. Village chief, we can also donate money. Yes, it's just because of donating too much and donating too little. Li Chen doesn't have to bear it all by himself. We can all donate, and no one will refuse to donate. There was a lot of noise. Li Wenda pressed his hands and said, I just asked someone to make a preliminary estimate. Our village will only build a kindergarten and a primary school, and the approximate budget is about 6 to 7 million. This is only the preliminary construction, and later decorations and so on are not included. What Li Chen means is that he is responsible for the big head and everyone is responsible for the small head. The quarrel started again. After all, this cannot be explained clearly in a few words. Li Chen directly signaled the old village chief to give him the trumpet, and said to everyone, I know what everyone means. Building the school is also my heart, Li Chen, and it can be regarded as my debt to everyone before. Let's not waste time. If we have decided that I will find someone to rebuild it on the old site today. It is only the beginning of July anyway, so 2 months is enough time to build it. Since everyone is willing, I, Li Chen, won't stop me. Everyone will use anonymous fundraising methods. I will make up the remaining difference, how about it?